Hello and welcome to Minigame Monday. Today is Monday, May 26th, 2005, which happens to be Memorial Day in the US. So we'll see if we can get in, get out real quick, and go on to our holiday, whatever we might be doing to celebrate if we are in the US. For myself, people who have watched streams from long ago or who have attended Protospill online may know Amanda from our mod team, and I will be going to her house later today because she bought a house and is having a housewarming party. So exciting. Hello, Jack. Okay, and we're trying something different that hopefully will be snappier for a word search today. We are on to the January, the games that came to the January event. We've been doing August 2024 for 12 to 14 weeks, something like that. And now we're doing January 2025 games. We just closed out the May 2025 session of Protospill Online. So the first one is going to be a word search, and I've been kind of trying to figure out my groove, how to show you all word searches, the word search puzzles. And these are games that were play tested at the event. So anything that's in a word search puzzle I make is something that got play tested at a Protospill Online event. These from 2025. And they're all, let me get so I can click on it instead of my stream screen. Okay. So we've got an alphabetical list here, and they're all hidden in this table. Instead of me looking for each one, I'm going to go through the list, and I have prepared these slides that show what the post looked like, or one of the posts looked like when they called for testers. So this is what the designer was saying about the game as they tested it back in January. You can see the dates here. So this is a screenshot from inside our Discord server, and this is what our looking for a game post look like. So sometimes people bring them back. I've tried to be careful and take the screenshot of, we're going to see January dates up at the top there. So we've got the designer's name, and I'm not going to misspeak about who brought what or whatever. So one-on-one basketball is one that I have played. Sorry, I'm just going to move things around a little bit. So in case somebody talks to me in the chat, I will see you. Okay. All right, so this one I have played. This is a 2-player only, like, quick trick-taking game, and Eric has run a tournament in their server, which is it's so snappy that it can be played 3 or 4 times in an hour, which is pretty cool. So let's go back to this, and so I'll tell you what, if you want to search for, and this one is a little bit out of alphabetical order because it needs to be letters right in here, but it's spelled, when Eric writes it out, he uses numerals. So this one is not actually the first on the list, but the rest of them will be alphabetical. If you happen to find, if you want to look in the word search, if you're watching along, and you find something, you can give me the hint instead of the tool, but I'm going to use the tool to get a hint so I can keep us moving along. Oops, I need to select the one I want. Okay, there we go. Right there. One-on-one basketball. All right, now on to Angry Axolotl. Okay, yeah, this is Google Slides. I'm not used to presenting with them, but I think I've got it. So, all right, so this one I also got to play in January. This is a light old maid like game, yeah, which is what they say. And the cards, though, it's a little bit old maid plus, because the cards have powers, like you can do extra trading or things like that, and it's got some really cute axolotl art on it. And we can see it's I can also call out, we've got the platform listed. It was on screen top. You can see about how long it is and how many people it takes. So it is a little party game-ish because it takes a lot of people, casual audience. And I agree, it felt very like we were playing a pretty close to finish game back in January. Yeah, and this is an example also of a designer that put their listing on the website, and in Discord, this is a hyperlink. And also they have a diary post where people can click, and that's another place in the Discord server where people could make comments, because this is a screenshot from looking for a game, and there's no free conversation on looking for a game. It's a display channel. So let's see. I don't see any hints about Angry Axolotl yet, so I'm in the chat, so I'm going to take a hint from the tool. And it's backwards here. There we go. That is a tough word. Cannot remember how to spell that word for the life of me. All right, so let's go on to a War. This one, I've seen its title a lot, but I have not played it myself. So this one is from Daniel Ruggiero. I haven't said this name out loud before. Ruggiero, maybe that feels natural. Okay. This is a battle board game where players lead powerful dragonoid factions vying for supremacy in the vast War empire. Game of tactics, adaptability, and a touch of chaos. So, looking to balance powers, and is it fun? Do you want to play it again after you play it once? This one is an example that was brought on Tabletopia, so it was a more 3D environment that the game was played in. Nearing completion, which we have 4 different dev statuses that we let people choose from a drop-down, and nearing completion is the one right before final testing. So, and middling is before that. We'll probably see some of those too. So, and they're planning to self-publish, and also there's somebody who you could find this more information about it on our website. If you search for a War, you would see their post from January, and I think they've brought it to more than one session. But once again, no hints, so I'm gonna get one from Amuse Labs. There we go. It's hilariously still a little bit challenging to find, even with the hint. It's not that bad, but yeah. So on to Cutting Flowers. This one is one that I know I played in January, from Emily Vincent. A whimsical card game of sending insulting flower bouquets using Victorian language of flowers. And this is middling, still working on how the scoring should work, or was middling in January. I feel like Emily is a sometimes host on Building the Game, and I feel like since this, Unpub Prime has happened, and Emily talked about having felt like she had a breakthrough, I think, at this year's Unpub with this game. I did get to play it, and it's I think the goal is for comedy to get through, and for comedy to get through, I think it's the card play probably needs to be super simple, and it was still kind of catching on people a little bit. The turn order passing and stuff was a little bit like, when I play tested it, needing to get figured out and smoother. So we weren't giving each other saying the insults out loud very much in our playtest. I think that this is the goal with this game, is that it's quippy, a quippy card game. But I love the idea to take the not so nice things that could be said with the Victorian language of flowers, and they are, very proper sort of insults. that aren't really that insulting in today's world, I guess, because they're so, worded out of place. Cutting flowers. There we go. Okay, let's go Elemental Clash. This one I did not get to play test, so I'll get this one's from Matthew Karen, and this what we see here is an example of someone who was asking for a future start time instead of jumping into the playtest immediately as they posted it. So that's what it looks like when you do that. And they also were asking for an unguided test. So when they asked for that this app mention got added to the post. So people who said they're open for unguided testing would get a notification and take a special look at this. So Elemental Clash is a fast-paced card game where you command elemental forces in battle for supremacy. With 2,700 plus fusion combos, strategic depth, and stunning art, every choice shapes your path to victory. First 2 rounds unguided playtest, and then clarify, which is an interesting way to get kind of both kinds of feedback. I like that idea. And let people play with the corrected rules so they can give feedback on the actual rules as well as feedback on how well the rule book helped them understand the actual rules. And wow, this one is built in 3 different platforms, so people had their options, which is an awesome thing if you can do it. It's a lot of work, so I commend this designer. I did not get to play this one myself, and this one is so not quite in final testing, but getting close. And let's see if we can get a hint for this. Okay. Whoops. Gotcha. And then Goblin Heist. This is another one I didn't. So this is, and also just, this is part 1 of a series of 4 word searches that I've made for January. So this list here is just 1/4 of the titles that were the unique titles that were play tested during that event. And I feel like we're in a list of them that I wasn't in most of these play tests. I see maybe like 5 that were at the most. So we're moving on to Goblin Heist. This one's from Nathan Masters. And okay, a 5-player social deduction game, very new, still figuring things out. Okay, so there's goblins that are involved in a heist, and they're either heisters or informants. This is on Screen Top. And they may, and it's a 85-minute game. It's interesting. Social deduction games can be very long or short, because they can be very intricate sometimes, and the more intricate they are, the longer they take. I find that I used to be designing a social deduction game, and it's pretty common for the first time one plays a social deduction game for everything to break, because people sort of just need to see it fall apart to understand the strategy. So a long social deduction game can be rough. Although, I suppose it depends on how mechanically supported the social deduction game is, how much it is, I just have a card and I talk about stuff. And there's a very simple, like bidding mechanism or something like that. Versus there's, an intricate like puzzle or whatever. There's another one that we will get to. It's not in this puzzle that I played in January and also in May. That is, a longer social deduction game that I guess proves against this. It needs to be short because this one was very heavy mechanically. So anyway, I'm not sure. I don't have a lot of reference point for if how heavy or light. It says medium for audience, so I don't have a reference point though for my my own personal sense of how complicated this one is. But it's a cool idea. To be you know, a heist and probably a fantasy fantasy setting. So let's see, a hint for Goblin Heist. Okay, now Hollow is one that I have played, and I think I played during one of these January, maybe even this one of these January sessions. This is another one where this is from Matthew Hawker and says self-publishing, and I happen to just be in the loop there that'll be the goal is to bring that out through Lunar Punk Games and partnership with Zoe Allred. And this is another example of a game that was posted in advance. This one is it's interesting that this says 70 minutes. This is a pretty snappy game in my and it does say casual. In my experience, it's simply cards. So yeah, easy to release and publish, easy to manufacture with just those cards. I'm going to read Matthew's evocative text out loud to you. I think he's nailed it here. You are a soul, punished to the depths of the darkest purgatory. Will you seek to become something better or succumb to the depravity of your darkest desire? And looking for an unguided test, or at least run it by somebody who hasn't played it. Yeah, because it holds a lot of people. So a lot of people in the community have now been exposed at least once, because the playtest can take so many. But this is, yeah, an example. A lot of times we recommend people who have games that take a long time or are a heavy audience game. Plan in advance so that there are maybe fewer people. It's a more niche sort of thing to like to play hobby games. So there might be fewer people attending that are interested, but if you can put your game up early and kind of let people know who have said they're interested in your game from the website, if you posted it there, and message them, you can have some more time to build up the players. Instead of just waiting in LFG, you could go play test a game for like 1 or 2 hours while people read and agree to an advance time. That's the biggest reason that we added this, but also for things where multiple people are asking the person to play the game. And I think that this is more along the lines for Hollow. This is also a way to give people some advance notice. Like, let's say you've been talking to your friends and you know you're both going to Protospiel Online. You want to have a chance to play a game together. You can also use this to say, okay, you know, we're going to do other stuff, but at 4 p.m. on Saturday or whatever, this is our time to meet up. And you can use this that way too. Let's see, Hollow. There we go. Lots of diagonals here. Journey to Skyhaven is another one that I have played more than once. It used to have a different name, though. I don't know. I don't remember what its name used to be, but I'm pretty sure the name changed. Previously known as isn't included in this description, though. But this one's from Nathan Fullerton. Also was a pre-planned in January. And it's a game about hiking. So in a sort of fantasy setting. So journey over the scenic landscapes of Mistwind as a shepherd, guiding your flock to the Skyhaven Harvest Festival. Manage your herd, balance your stamina, and keep a sharp eye on the weather. Testing different in-game triggers, updating scoring, and a new herd mechanic. So I know that from the playtest that we did, the herd was still sort of disconnected from the core loop of the game. So it may or may not be the case that the herd mechanic that I play tested will be part of the game when it's all said and done. But yeah, this one's in final testing and under contract with publisher, and I know that it had been you were like an anthropomorphic animal in the first time that I play tested this game when it had a different name, and it's being rethemed and just kind of reimagined for what the publisher would like. What they I think they're probably worried that there's too many anthropomorphic animals and they don't want to get kind of buried in the mix of those. But yeah, this is a really fun game with, and it's even with some of the things that are getting fiddled around with. The core loop of the game, card play, and kind of you're building a tableau of your journey and kind of trying to make chains. You get bonuses for like going to a certain type of place after another certain type of place, and you're climbing to a summit and then descending a summit to get to the festival. So there's kind of a midpoint of the game where you I like that midpoint as well. So journey to Skyhaven, right there. Well, I said I didn't, let's see, didn't play any of them. Yeah, I think I didn't, some of these I had played in the past, but I didn't play in January. I think I've got like 2 more that I actually played in January. Lord of Mitnell was one of them from Vince Cheney, and Vince was new with us in January. I know that from having been in a playtest with him. And it's a tactical turn-based unit placement game. It has like a big hex grid, and it's very modular setup. And it's you have a leader or a general, I'm not sure what the word for it was, that has certain powers, and then other of your units have powers, and it's all like you have cards that tell you what the powers are, and then you move pieces on the board that are kind of tied to those cards. Looking for a higher player count to see the strategies that come out of that. This might not be, people post more than once, and I'm just grabbing one example to give y'all stream viewers a view of what it's like. I don't think we played at a low player count when I tested this, so this might be a follow-up after that. Or yeah, our tribe leader. So it's kind of, I think it's not really based on actual South American or Central American tribes, but it's kind of like a fantasy rendition of those things. We'll self-publish or looking for a publisher. So let's see the hint. Wait, okay. There's so many O's. Lord, there we go. There we go. Okay, this is one I have not tested, Orion's Belt. And it also, so I kept it as Orion's Belt for the purposes of these puzzles, because that's what it was shared as on the cell sheets. So using that name and all in any puzzle, I think it doesn't have a prototype listing linked here. Doesn't necessarily mean it wasn't listed, but I think it was just a cell sheet and a play test. So, but anyway, it has a new name, but it'll come up as Orion's Belt in the puzzles for January from Quan. And it's a cyberpunk-inspired worker placement area control game. Lead your gang to ascend to the Syndicate Council, recruit crew, manage businesses, and gain game-breaking technologies. Wanting to know general feedback and graphic design input. And it's more of a heavy game with the whole thing taking 115 minutes. And it's looking for a publisher. And there is a diary post where people can chat with Quan about it in the Protospiel Online server. Let's see. Okay. This way. And then this one, Parterre, I did not play it in January, but now we have gotten past the May event. I did get to play it with Caleb. And this is something to call out too. You see, Caleb is the designer, and the if we go back to like what we've been seeing. Oh, interesting. Yeah. And also the timing of when I took this screenshot was later, I think in future. I feel pretty good about how this is working and displaying on the stream. So when I do the May ones, I'll take a snapshot before we reset the server for the next event, so that the badge type and number and stuff of people will be what it was at the time they posted it. So this is somebody who, what you're seeing here is a alumni icon. So this is somebody who was with us in January and wasn't able to attend May, but then this is somebody who attended. And this symbol means playtester. But I happen to know, in this case, this is a design team. So generally, playtesters don't post their games. They're just there to play. But Caleb is part of a team where Nina is actually the person who got the designer badge for the team. And then as a group, they're giving more playtesting by having more people from their team. And then, just one person is posting, but they have different games and different people are the lead on different games and stuff. So this is an example of Caleb's really the lead designer here, but was part of a team where somebody else had the designer badge, if that makes sense. So this is a casual display builder in which you take turns placing flower tiles into your planter. Each flower type scores differently, and you get bonuses for creating symmetrical display. As of January, they said, I haven't play tested this game much at all, looking to make sure all the mechanics are relatively balanced, and it was in screen top and new in January. That's really interesting. I played it in May, and it felt like a pretty finished game. I think we definitely had some feedback about balancing scoring and like some gotchas about the goals and stuff that had been made in the game, but those little details aside, the core loop of the game is really fun. And yeah, we had multiple people. We insisted on finishing it because we wanted to know if we would make our goals and what the end game was like and everything. So this one is one I will be keeping an eye on. Yeah. I said I didn't play it in January. I got to play it in May though, because it came back. Here we go. Okay, this is one I'm not familiar with from playtest, Prohibition. This one was from Flip Vermersch. And feel the highs and lows of being a bootlegger in 1920 Chicago. Expects lots of player-to-player interaction. Important mechanics are action cards, auction, area control, hidden victory points. And this is a medium, takes 80 minutes to play, needs at least 3 players, nearing completion, and looking to self-publish. And yeah, this is a theme that's really evocative. I've seen in the past other prototypes going for this theme. I can't think of a game that's published that's really about being a bootlegger. Like Moonshine is part of Distilled, but it's not really about being a bootlegger. Maybe I'm forgetting something, but yeah, it seems like a really evocative moment in history that I'm surprised hasn't been turned into a published game. Okay, there we go. Rank and file. This one's from Mark Wilson. Rank and file is an abstract guerrilla-style skirmish battle for 2 players that plays in 45 to 60 minutes, maneuver forces, and give orders from a standardized set of cards to attack and recruit en route to victory. Looking for feedback on the length, the decision space, and if there are cognitive load issues. This one was in playingcards.io. It's a 2-player only game for a medium audience and middling dev status. And there is a there's a prototype listing for this. So we're going to see this one again in some of the other puzzles. This one I didn't get to try. Let's see the hint. There you go. And Rover Rollover, I'm familiar with who the designer is, but I've not played this one yet. It's been around for a while. This one's from Jeff Johnston, sorry. A light family pressure luck game where players are dogs adding bones into holes by rolling dice and drawing cards. Don't add too many dog bones and hope no one commands rollover. Testing a new catch-up option and card ratios. This has come a long way from Protospiel Online last year, looking for help in 1 or 2 areas. Round length, new card option with feedback after playing a game. Could check out downtime issue with 5 players. Hint, hint. Look, hoping for 5 players is what we're saying there. But we could do it with 2. And designer can play if needed. So nearing completion, looking for a publisher. This one's in our website listing, and this was built in Tabletopia. And let's see where it is in the grid. There we go. All right, 2/3 of the way done. Now, Soccer 54. This one I did get to play in January. This one's from Greg Poole, and Greg has been really like when I was searching for the post that last post that happened in January, I found lots of instances of the term Soccer 54 because Greg has really been using his diary that you see. He's got it linked in the listing in the Discord. So, and also I happen to know from working on the community newsletter that there have been developments with this game where there was a contest called the Deckhand Games contest. The idea of Deckhand, it's like a collaboration between a couple of designers, I believe, and making a publishing house of a certain kind of game, which are 18 card games, 18 custom card decks that, when combined with a standard playing card deck, you can play the whole game. So you have to have a standard deck of cards and then get this 18 card deck and do them together. And so Soccer 54 originated as a playing card only game. So seeing that idea for a type of game that augments a standard deck with these 18 cards, Greg thought that through and made, I think Soccer 54 stands on its own still, but there's Soccer 54 Premier, which I'm not a big soccer fan, but my understanding is the Premier is a different league, so it's kind of like a advanced is implied by that. So anyway, there's been, and Greg got to be a finalist in that contest, so there's more to tell about this. This will be interesting to see how it goes. But what was said in January is using 6 standard playing cards in your hand, challenge for possession to move a soccer ball up and down a 3x3 field in order to get the best shot on goal. And whoever scores the most goals after 2 45-minute halves wins. Looking for some final tests after getting good play tests in a pub with soccer fans. And as I've said on our stream our showcase stream talking about that this was coming back to May. Greg is a professional college soccer announcer, so if you get to play with him, and I'm sure why it was really popular in the pub with the soccer fans is that he's there running the tests, and it really sounds like you're watching TV and hearing the play-by-play of every card, of the thematically what is happening with your cards, and that's really fun. When you just talk to Greg, it's not, he talks with a regular cadence like anybody. And I didn't really realize that was one of his skills until he was doing it as I was playtesting the game. I'm like, oh, wow, it's interesting how there's a certain way you talk when you're announcing, and it's like something one can practice and really make sound professional. So this one's Spindletop. I have played this one a long time ago, and I think it's changed probably quite a bit. I played it the very first time Brooks came to Protospiel Online, which feels like it might have been a year ago, or maybe more. Time goes by so fast. But posted by Brooks, this was a advanced posting with an advanced start time. And he says, howdy, it's 1902 and oil was just discovered at Spindletop in southeast Texas. Trying to navigate the competitive and cutthroat oil business while you bet on your success and test your hand at poker. This is near final testing, just hoping to play a full game and see how it goes. I know it came back in May, and someone made a special meme that was like, I made this, and it was like a little icon of the oil wells. So there's a lot of double crossing and stealing and taking over, it sounds like, in this game. A little contentious. And so we've got a prototype listing. This one will be coming back in the other puzzles for the rest of this series I'm going to be doing. Heavy game, nearing completion, and we've got a diary post for Brooks where you can talk about it with them. And let's see the hint. Okay, right there. Splinters. This one, I did play test this one. I'm making a liar out of myself. Maybe it was about half that I actually am aware of, or I have experience with. Posted by Camden Dyer, who was one of our friends who came on the giveaway live stream for the January session, and is in the Peace Corps. So I think they might be ending their time stationed where they were stationed, and it might be a life transition time because we didn't see Camden again in May, but hopefully we'll see him again. It was great to meet him. So work with other players as you navigate through a post-apocalyptic landscape, begin to mutate, inject yourself with corporate compounds, and ascend to the spirit realm to help or hinder your material companions. Yeah, it's a very interesting concept of having many opportunities to make decisions on if you are going to mutate, which makes you both more dangerous and more helpful. It had mechanically, at the time we play tested it, the goal was just to get to the end of the trail, basically, and there was one thing that moved you on the trail, and so we kept choosing it. But the concept of that decision of get more powerful and more dangerous, though, is really interesting. Let's see. Hint. Splinter. Here we go. The most insignificant office is from Nathan Fullerton. Oh, I don't want to misspeak, but I'm pretty sure Nathan is the person also who Nathan is Journey to Skyhaven designer. Oops, I went too far. So this is another game from that designer, but earlier in testing. Step into the chaotic world of early American elections as you scheme and campaign to sway electoral votes. Not to pick the winner, but to manipulate who comes in second. I believe it doesn't say this here, but I believe it's a trick-taking game, what I sort of remember reading on the prototype listing. So this one we'll come back to testing a scenario to see if it still works, or come back into our we'll see it in other puzzles in this series. Most insignificant office. Okay, that one is spanning the whole width of the Twin Tarot Tiles. I feel like I've played it, but I think it was longer. Maybe it was in January. I don't know. Yeah, because this says 2 rival fortune tellers in this description from January, but it was pretty themeless when Will and I played this one head to head. It's a game of just every card is just game breaking and changes the situation drastically. But you play 2 cards and your opponent gets to choose which one to veto. So the thing is to pick 2 that are about equally bad at the same time, bad for your opponent at the same time. Let's see where this one is. Twin Tarot Tiles. There we go. That one's from, I didn't say it out loud, but that one's from Zach Morris, who also, if you look back at our Twitch streams, came on as a guest to talk about their experience with Protospiel. And then Witch's Quarrel is going to be our last one, and this one is one that's been coming for at least 3 years, maybe 4. Shanti has worked so hard on this, and it's going to be going to Kickstarter, self-published pretty soon here. So this is going to be super exciting to see it kind of make it into the wider world instead of just within our game designer circles, with like very, very heavily play tested. It's a legacy campaign, or it's like a unfolding story as you do really quick deck building 2-player head-to-head sessions. So it's designed for, you know, a couple that have a little kid like Shanti experiences, and they don't really have a lot of time to play a long game, but they want a bigger experience that they could do in little bites. So yeah, and it's there's a lot to figure out here with this game, both the really clever, snappy card play and a story that unfolds that is actually, I have helped with playtesting outside of Protospiel Online for this one as kind of an opportunity to hang out with a particular friend. This was our excuse to get together, and so I can attest that this game works for, you know, online play, weekly meetings, to stay in touch with a friend or something like that too, which is kind of beautiful. So yeah, and the story is about 2 friends, and as it was written when we finished, it was like the end of the story was really kind of like sweet and touching. There's some tension, you know, in the story too. It's good. Okay, so that's the end of this puzzle, and I'm gonna go back to full screen to say goodbye. Okay, so that was, I shaved 15 minutes off of how long it took me when I was looking that up and not showing you the last time I did a word search. I in the background searched and read from Discord, because I'm all right showing you the names of the designers, you know, in the Discord, because I want to give them credit for the games that they brought. But other people's names, like who the playtesters were and such, just personal information as I'm scrolling and popping around, and like when you search, you kind of have to scroll past other things that are not these game listings. I'm not comfortable showing that stuff that I think people assume some level of privacy in a Discord server, and everybody's name is their real name based on the way our server works in our server. So those screenshots are, I think, working better so that you actually can see what I'm looking at and understand what I'm talking about when I say the post. And yeah, I saved myself just, I think it's worth it not to be able to show you and not to have to spend time searching during the stream. Makes it a little snappier, so I think I will be doing that next time we do a word search. And next week, I believe it will be a jigsaw puzzle. Yeah, and it's going to be Pride by then, and I think it's going to be perfect timing. The puzzle is very Pride celebratory. So you have a great week, and thanks for joining me. I will see you next week on Minigame Monday when it's not a holiday Monday, and maybe we'll have more viewers and more activity in the chat. See you next time.